Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Bellator fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting some of the key fights for Bellator 280 Petr versus Kongo 2. So without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the card that I'll be predicting. So in our first fight that I'll be predicting, we have in the featherweight division, Pedro Cavallo versus Petr Nozzelski. I'm going to say Nozzelski. Cavallo versus Petr. And I feel in this one, I feel like Petr got some power on him, a little bit of power, some decent technique at times. I'm saying what he's working with. I'm saying he's working, slipping them shots, throwing some combination there. But this little slips, it's a little bit wide. It's not as polished. You can definitely see him getting some good fundamental training, doing the right things necessarily. But on some of the combinations, they're a little bit longer, a little bit extended more than they need to be, not as sharp. I feel like in some areas on striking, he's better than Pedro Cavallo, and also with the power, he can connect on Pedro Cavallo's kind of soft, mushy head and connect and put him out. But overall, I feel like Pedro Cavallo has been in there with better competition. Matter of fact, let me say, I feel both these guys are pretty well-rounded. I feel like Nozzelski does better combinations, packs a little bit more power. I feel like Pedro Cavallo, head movement a little bit questionable at times. Chin is definitely questionable at times. But I feel like, experience is a big factor, being with much better guys. I feel like his grappling is more polished. I feel like he's a better grappler. I feel like his striking's at least sharper, not as good as slipping shots. I'm not saying Nozzelski necessarily the sharpest, the best head move, best at slipping shots either. And especially when he gets tired, he gets very sloppy and almost starts to look amateurish. A lot of times he's out there just standing upright, throwing these arm punches, look very sloppy. But yeah, I feel like Pedro Cavallo, fight extends late, Pedro Cavallo's going to be fighting roughly the same pace, same technique. Everybody gets tired, everybody dips. But I feel like Petr Nozzelski almost turns amateurish as he gets tired. But I feel like more so going to be a case of Pedro Cavallo that's landing the sharper shots. I worry about him getting connected on or get caught in that combination and you don't see it coming. But outside of that, I feel like Pedro Cavallo should be able to stay, keep us in the driver's seat, land the sharper punches, not miss as much, and be more accurate with his work rate. And then eventually to start to walk down Nozzelski, clip him up, force him to make mistakes or get him going back and start to initiate his own grappling. But overall, I feel like it's going to be, like I said, little concerns early, but I feel like this should be Pedro Cavallo's fight, barring getting caught with a clean shot and, that changing, turning his light out or changing the complexity of the fight. But hey, if he could take the shot, roll with it, come back and, still be in his face, still Pedro Cavallo's fight. What I see, first round kind of wearing, filling him out, establishing his range, establishing the pace of this fight, kind of touch him up a little bit, maybe mixing the takedown just to test it. Second round, now that's established, look at work, set him up, break him down, and then tap him out in that second round. So in this fight, I got Pedro Cavallo via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the middleweight division, Mike Shipman versus Gregory Bogg. And how I see one right here is, at first I was leaning Mike Shipman, but I wasn't really looking too much into Gregory Bogg. He definitely had a long career, very interesting career, to be fighting this long and still be a relative unknown, or really an unknown in a way. Well, now he's 38. His age is a concern, but when I really look at Shipman, I'm not super impressed with Shipman. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. He's definitely not a bad fighter, but I feel like I would expect his technique to be so much better, his striking to be so much better, just so much better, given everything. But it's not an easy pick to pick him. I'm not picking him. I'm picking Gregory Bogg. The age concerns me. The level of competition at times a little bit concerns me. But when I look at their techniques, it's not that far apart. And I feel like Bogg is stronger, more explosive. I'm not really impressed with Shipman. Looks a little bit uncomfortable out there a lot of times in the striking exchanges. And I feel like Bogg is the more polished striker. Shipman might be able to catch a little, I don't know. I'm not even going to say he's going to be able to catch him a little ugly spinning backwards like he did against Yannick or anything. But yeah, I feel like this fight going to heavily play in the grappling. Both guys scoring grappling exchanges. I feel like Bogg's going to land the heavier shots on the feet and force Shipman into porous positions and maybe try to lay and pray. But I don't think this has been the most prettiest fight. I feel like this is going to be a very uncomfortable to watch, odd fight. But Bogg overall outpowering him in the grappling a little bit. Technique kind of almost evening out. Experience kind of favoring Shipman, or at least, I don't know, at the higher level. But Bogg getting the takedowns, being a stronger one in the grappling situations, landing the heavier shots. But like I said, very close fight, back and forth. Kind of really probably leaning out of the way going to that third round. But then Bogg is able to catch him, force him to make mistakes, force him to make, like I said, overextend, and then take advantage of it in the grappling exchange and then tap him out in the third round. So in this fight, I got Gregory Bogg via third round submission. Now to our next fight. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, Lorenz Larkin versus Cal Stewart. And high six one right here is first round knockout for Lorenz Larkin, and that's a little bit disrespectful to Cal Stewart a little bit, but not necessarily. I feel like in reality it could go a little bit longer, but I'm gonna say first round. I'm gonna go with first round for Lorenz Larkin. I feel like second round probably closer, but hey, first round it is. Lorenz Larkin first round knockout, but yeah, I feel like Kyle Stewart. I feel like he definitely has a good all-around skill set, and he actually has a pretty solid skill set. I feel like he really could be a UFC caliber fighter. I'm not saying he's gonna be sticking around for long or he's gonna be putting up so many wins or doing so well. I feel like he could swim in the UFC. Is all I'm saying. I feel like he could swim. Probably better at welterweight maybe if he could make that cut. Welterweight probably be his better weight class. He probably could swim a little bit. At least stay in the UFC for a couple years, maybe pick up wins, be back like 500 or something. But I'm just saying that guy's solid enough. But as we all know, Lorenz Larkin can more than swim in the UFC and could be a top 10 fighter in welterweight division, maybe top 15 and top 10 potentially at middleweight, but definitely top 10 at welterweight. But yeah. But yeah, enough about the rankings. But yeah, I feel like he got a good rounded skill set, but I just feel like he don't have enough in any area that's going to cause Lorenz Larkin so much issue. I feel like striking Lorenz Larkin is light years above him. Grappling, I feel like he does have an edge in grappling, but not enough that it's nothing Lorenz Larkin has not been in there with better. Yeah, way better. So I just feel like in the case where Stewart going to try to pressure, try to be aggressive, try to force, try to blanket Larkin, but Larkin probably just going to be like slapping him against the cage, landing some elbows, landing some knees, then getting right back to distance, ripping the body with kicks. Have basically Cal Stewart almost getting desperate to try to create a grappling situation or try to land a big shot and just be there missing and getting frustrated, getting countered, getting clipped up. Like I said, they're trying to force something that he can't force. Like the striking is not going to be going his way. And then like I said, then going to turn to a panic grappler, trying to panic to get to the clinch, panic to go for the takedowns. And then Larkin is going to be there making him pay for his desperation. I see him put him out in that first round. So in this fight, I got Lorenz Larkin via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Davy Gallen versus Benjamin Brander. And this is just a case of this guy's 13-8. Look at his skill set, barely Bellator level. Like I can't really say why he's even here. I guess he barked and he got his opportunity. Or Bellator needed to fill in the spot, and here he is. But I feel like Davy Gallen's the better striker, the better grappler, the better fighter, far more experience, far better competition, far better record. And I'm more so gonna say submission, probably gonna hurt him on the feet, then take opportunity on the ground, and then tap him out in that very first round. Brandon gonna be tough, but not tough enough. So in this fight, I got Davy Gallen via first round submission. Now to our next fight we have in our co-main event in the light heavyweight division, Yoel Romero versus Alex Polizzi. And how I see one right here is this is probably really the best dog on the card, Polizzi, but I'm not leaning to him. This for real. Well, I did pick Baban, and I didn't get this given moment. He's the underdog. So I don't know if that one guy's the better dog, but I'm leaning to another dog and not this dog. But yeah. How season one with Polizzi versus Romero or Romero versus Polizzi is, I feel like Polizzi striking really ain't all that. His wrestling's pretty solid, but nowhere near the level of Romero. Even Romero pushing 50, pushing 60, pushing 70. Still, I feel like it's a better wrestler. I feel like the biggest strength Polizzi could bring is pace and not being scared. Like, so fearlessness, tenacity, and his pace, which also could be falling to tenacity. But yeah, I feel like Romero can be a very good counter wrestler. I feel like there's never been a case anybody went out there and had such great success wrestling Romero. It's never really been a case of that. And he's been with some solid wrestlers. And striking wise, I feel like Romero can. Also, Polizzi hasn't really been in it with anybody to the level of Romero. He's been in there with Cavallo, who's a great striker and whatnot. But Cavallo, as we all know, has some wrestling, grappling issues. That's been pretty evident. And Polizzi took advantage of that. It's not like he really beat him that dominantly. I feel like there's really a case that you could say Cavallo beat him. And to be honest, I know, judging by how MMA judging jumps around, and I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, that was the right decision. I feel like it could have easily leaned him if you deal based off damage and not blanketing. He got caught with several stepping knees. He tried to go for takedowns. Was doing nothing on top and was getting hurt with a lot of shots that would have knocked a lot of people out. So he was tough. His chin held up. And that got him the victory and land on people. But he didn't do no damage. He just blanketed. Literally a blanket that was getting caught with all these stepping knees, getting kneed in the clinch, getting outstruck. But because he was on top, he won. So yeah. You see other guys go out there and dominate Cavallo on the ground. So I like to say, outside Cavallo, he hasn't really fought anybody. He fought that Angelikas guy, And also, you can say, oh, Romero's not this, not that, but he lost to Phil Davis, who's a far more accomplished wrestler, far actually truer light heavyweight. I feel like Polizzi probably can make welterweight. I might not say welterweight, but like middleweight or something. Yeah. Romero's, even at this age, has been in there with much bigger, much better fighters, much better wrestlers. And that's really all Polizzi bringing is wrestling and pace. And I feel like Romero could shut down his wrestling, tear him up on the feet, and I really see Romero putting him out in the second round. So I just feel like Romero probably going to fill him out the first round, probably stuff his takedowns, probably embarrass him a little bit on the feet when he try to go for some takedowns, probably reverse and then slam him right on his head, then start walking him down, stick his tongue out, punch him up, have Polizzi turning his tail and running around the cage, trying to survive in the second round, corner him, knock him out, second round. So in this fight, I got Yoel Romero via second round TKO. Now to our main event, we have in the heavyweight division, Ryan Bader versus Shek Kongo 2. And how I see this fight, this rematch right here is I just think it's historics. Shek Kongo has never really done well with wrestlers throughout his career. He has had moments where he has picked up some surprising wins and, has made some improvements, but at his core, he still does not deal all that well with wrestlers. Like, he can pick up some wins and do well enough, but Ryan Bader is still probably the best wrestler he's had ever fought. First fight, he kind of got lucky because he said, it was eye poking. He did get eye poked. It was fair enough, but that fight was not really going his way. Ryan Bader is big, still strong, still got the cardio. Definitely not as big as Shek Kongo, but I'm just saying he's more than big enough to wrestle Shek Kongo. He's more than skilled enough. Still by far the best wrestler I feel that Shek Kongo has ever fought. And he's going to put him on the mat and control him. I was really at first thinking a stoppage, but it's probably going to be a decision. Like, Ryan Bader couldn't finish Matt Mitrione, who almost has zero grappling for real. Wrestling terrible, jiu-jitsu even more terrible. But he can tap our TKO Matt Mitrione. So I'm gonna say decision. I feel like he's gonna take him down, beat on him for 5 rounds. Unless it's like, Shek Kongo just get tired of getting beat on and just the ref weighs it off. I feel like there's a chance he could catch him with a big shot and stop Shek Kongo, but I'm gonna say decision. Like, he's gonna take him down, blanket him for 5 rounds. I'm not gonna say blank because he really gonna be landing some good ground and pound. Shek Kongo gonna try to do good to get some wrist control, establish guard, might get his little moments on the feet, land a good knee here and there, land a good shot. Then Ryan Bader just pick him up, dump him right on the ground, and control him for large portions of the rounds, and wins a wide decision. And that's what I see in the main event. So in this fight, I had Ryan Bader via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for some of the key fights for Bellator 280, Bader versus Kongo 2. And as always, thanks for watching.